So, after uploading this and seeing that my audio is kinda shitty, I have to re-upload it again, which is kinda annoying, but for some reason in my headphones it sounded well, but when I uploaded it and someone wrote a comment that I checked that the video was terrible. So we're here to shortly reapproach what happened yesterday for the second time now, just in the form of what Chanel had to say to it and the accusations on the main man for being racist. The main man unfortunately made on his Twitch account a statement that the Korean scene is the shadiest and dirtiest Tekken scene that exists, and instead of the word that he should have used was, because there were a lot of rumors and topics on Tekken Zaibatsu a long time ago regarding a lot of issues with Nin and a lot of other Korean players, and that Ni was not so nice until he met Chanel. But those is all very, very old, and I don't think that's the case since 5 years or so. But so shouldn't really brought that up, to be honest, but you can kind of feel the guy because he gets shot from anywhere, so he tries to throw something back at them and try to hit them. So he points something out that he thinks was vulnerable, and he hit it. But the words he used were very poorly chosen. And I watched the main man since he started converting himself from a combo maker to a content creator. But I was never a big fan of him, to be honest. I never watched him frequently. I watched him like 20 times overall the past 5 years. I'm not his targeted group with his content, even though I think he does a good job for beginner to intermediate players. I was not a big fan that he got early access for season 4. I don't think his sense of humor is something for everybody. He used to make actually Hitler jokes back in the day at Tekken Tag Tournament 2, which I don't like that much. And he had a very, very toxic behavior back in Tekken Tag Tournament 2. But I have to say, he really changed, in my opinion, at least. Maybe only for the viewers, but I just think that he doesn't take the game as serious as he did before. And if you're honest to yourself, at some point at the game, you didn't understood why you lose and what happened, so you started to get very upset. And I think that was the case with him as well. But after this rant on his Twitch account, Chanel reached out and actually said that it was racist, kind of racist, which I don't think is accurate. I don't think it's justified, but what I think even more is making such a deep accusation is very childish and very problematic. I know people on Twitter are always on a witch hunt and always try to create the biggest drama possible, blah, 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 rada, rada. I know. And I can get that generalizing the whole Korean community based on facts that weren't even safely proven 12 years ago are maybe not the right source to base on an opinion and spread it to your viewers. I think he knows that as well and will apologize today. But accusing someone who earns his money with content creation for the public scene of a fighting game, and kind of like afterwards modifying it, but not like there is no excuse for such an accusation, and he didn't apologize at all. As you can see here, he says the post has been deleted, but it's a speech problem and I won't erase this. So this is kind of like I don't know. You have to think that the guy, the main man, built his brand for like 7 years to get to the point where he is now. And an accusation like this maybe will not last long for people that know him. But a lot of people will take this for granted. Chanel also has 17,000 followers on Twitter, which most of them will recognize that this was a little harsh from him, but a lot of people won't. And if you try to be a public figure and try to figure out deals and stuff, it can be very, very devastating to have an accusation like this in the room and then people cutting videos out of context and sending them to them. There are several players that lost contracts, sponsorships, because being accused of racism or whatever. I'm just gonna turn on gameplay in the background. So what I think is the big issue here is the line definitely was crossed when Chanel said this is racism or kind of racist. That is something that she should not have said until he's 100% sure that it's a fact, and it wasn't a fact at all. So even though he kind of modified it, I would hope that he would straight up apologize for what he said and make a clear statement. Instead of that, he just stands his point and just kind of softened it, which is not enough if you make an accusation like that. Do I think that the main man gets a lot of hate that he actually deserves? Yes, I do. But that's like 20% of the hate he gets. If he plays against Y for a showcase match, he gets fried, man, before the match even starts. People are shitting on him before he even pressed one button. There are so many sold videos about him, so many videos that he win quits. But you have to understand this is an entertainer, not a professional Tekken player. And he represents a circle of players that doesn't understand the highest level of players and maybe is not even interested in it. And one thing that a lot of decent Tekken players get salty at, that he has such a big revenue, not understanding that it's due to his entertainment level and not due to his Tekken skill. And the most skilled player will never be the one with the most views. And in Tekken, it's even kind of fair because Ni, in my opinion, is the best Tekken player of all time, and he gets a huge bunch of views. Lowhigh also gets a huge bunch of views, but the most people are there in Twitch chats for the entertainment purpose, and that's where the main man shines. And I kind of defended him on Twitter a little bit. I didn't justify what he said, but I was like, he cannot be like roasted like being a racist. So I just said, yeah, I think he made something different and stuff. And people actually start accusing me being a racist, and I got like attacked. And I'm like, okay, now I do remember why I never go on Twitter, because the people here are actually mad crazy. And people are very, very lightly on those kind of things when they are not have to say it to your face physically. Um, Overall, to wrap this topic up, I really think Chanel has to apologize. I think the main man will apologize for choosing a very weird language and for stating a very general opinion which isn't accurate anymore. But I really think Chanel should do that as well and show that he's a full adult and say, okay, there I crossed the line, and repair kind of his image. And now I want to quickly cover one thing. Ni more focused now on the topic that 2Ds are the problem and not all guest characters. And I think for most people that was clear that that was what he meant when he said that guest characters shouldn't be in Tekken 8. And although I can agree with that statement 100%, I do have to say that Leroy and Fakum Ram, in my opinion, were not guest characters, but were just as problematic, of course. But Akuma, at least in my opinion, on release, was more broken than Leroy. I know he needed execution, but he was a joke. He was. The good thing is that console players cannot complain about that because we never experienced that. We never experienced Akuma's full potential. And I think what showed it the best was, I don't really recognize the name anymore, but there was a Street Fighter player who actually got third at Evo playing Akuma, and he didn't know anything about Tekken. You could clearly see that. he didn't know Akuma, but he didn't know anything, and he almost beat Nobi, man. It was crazy. And I do think that even though 2D gives a new variation to Tekken, they don't belong in this game. I do think that characters like Eliza are actually pretty well balanced in season 3 and season 4. I don't think so. I think she's underwhelming, but I can live with her design, right? She's a specialist. She has an interesting, not an interesting character design, but an interesting playstyle and a very specialized playstyle with huge weaknesses, but one or two huge strengths. But characters like Akuma and Geese are not justified. Geese especially. He's a Tekken character with great fundamentals, lacks with punishment, and that's it. And with bar, he turns into a one-touch death. That's not good for me. I just want to quickly summarize this. I will make one last statement. Why do I even make this video? And why do I care about something where I'm not even involved? And I cannot say how the Korean scene was because I just read it on Tekken Zaibatsu when I started playing the game. I was part of a community from my country. I'm a German Tekken player, and the German community seems very nice to each other and very respectful. But I got accused of boosting a long, long time ago with no proof from a guy I didn't know, I never played against, who himself was accused by very known players of the community to being a booster and a cheater. And from that moment on, this negativity towards me carried over for 4 months until I got actually kicked out of the group. Um, I'm not that thin-skinned, so I'm not arguing about stuff and this and that, because you have to realize that online you cannot change someone's opinion if they're sitting comfortable behind their monitor, right? That's not gonna work. And of course, people sometimes do not like you. Sometimes it's your fault, sometimes it's their fault. But that was the first and only time where I felt that a very lightly taken accusation actually really changed my behavior and the behavior from a small group of people towards me. And that was someone without any following and without any proof. That's why I think that an accusation as big as Chanel's was has to be clarified. That was the point I wanted to make, and that is actually already it for my kind of very short video. I hope this time the video audio is better, and if not, please let me know. See you in the next one. And this was the last one regarding Twitter drama. I swear. I've been opportunist.